The following is a Podbeard production.
From the deepest bowels of your imagination.
Actually, he's from Canada there, bud.
From the famed Hotter Show studios, this is The Hotter Show.
What is up, everybody? We are rolling out of here today on episode 219 of The Hotter Show. I hope you guys are doing absolutely fantastic. Thanks so very much for tuning in and clicking that play button on today's episode of the podcast. I have a kick-ass episode for you here today, as I try to do every single week here on The Hotter Show. I'm sitting down with my boys, Taylor, Nolan, and Jacob from Beguiler. This is a really fun chat, and it was a really long time coming. We started talking about this back in I want to say October, November even. We talk about it a little bit and joke just because that's how life is sometimes. But they released a kick-ass new single last week, Cynical, which is a badass track that you're going to hear a little bit about. And they have a brand new EP coming out July 26th. Entitled A Conscious Decline, and from what they have told me about it, it is just going to be a banger of an EP, and you're actually going to hear exclusively a track today on the show that is actually the second track on the EP, and it is just holy crap, guys. If you are into the deathcore / death metal, kind of that more extreme style of metal, you're going to absolutely dig it, and you're going to dig my chat with the guys in Beguiler. We talk a little bit about their start with music, their influences, the beginnings of the band, also the recording process of this new EP, and also their last EP, Born Under a Bad Sign, which is a kick-ass EP as well. And a bunch of other kind of random fun chats thrown in there. It was definitely a lot of fun. We actually did it pretty late at night. One of the latest podcasts I've done in a while. So I want to thank those guys for sticking it out with me and making it happen. It was a lot of fun to get to catch up with Taylor and Nolan, who I hadn't seen in a hot minute. And then also getting to meet Jacob was great. We shared a couple beers, which you will hear me at one point say to Jacob. I literally say to him, "God bless you, sir," because he handed me another beer, which was much needed at the time. But very excited about that. Before we get into it, I'm also excited to tell you guys a little bit about my friends and sponsor of Podbeard Network and The Hotter Show, Seat Giant. Now, if you're not familiar with Seat Giant, they are a ticket resale website that gets you tickets for all types of events, concerts, sporting events, theater events, family events, anything and all that you need. They most likely have it for you at great competitive pricing. Whether you want to sit way up in nosebleeds, save yourself some money, and just kind of be there for the event, or you want to be front row center, they have something for you. And what else is great about Seat Giant is they have a full money back guarantee. That's right, a full money back guarantee if there are any issues. Say, for example, maybe your ticket doesn't work or the event is canceled and they're not giving you a refund. As long as you can provide some kind of proof from the venue that there was an issue, they will give you a full refund. And I mean, as someone who was in that situation once before, let me tell you, that was a big thing for me. And when I saw that they do that, that was why I really wanted them to come on as a sponsor, and why I personally use them. And even if they weren't a sponsor, honestly, I would still use them just because I really truly believe in what they do. And not to mention, because they are a sponsor of the Podbeard Network and the Hotter Show, if you go on right now on seatgiant.ca or .com and use our coupon code at checkout PODBEARD, that is PODBEARD, you save yourself a little something extra at checkout on top of the great price you're getting, and you boys and girls at the Podbeard Network, and of course myself at the Hotter Show, get a little kickback. So what's not to like about that? You get a little discount and we get a little kickback. Everybody wins. So don't wait around to get tickets for the events you want to go to. Treat yourself and go to seatgiant.ca or .com today. Because at Seat Giant, they just don't sell tickets, they sell experiences. And with that, we're ready to roll into this podcast here today. My chat with Taylor, Nolan, and Jacob from Beguiler. Let's get into it. It's been a minute since I've seen two of you, and the first time I'm meeting one of you, and this is really cool because it's I think it marks maybe the maybe the third or fourth time in the history of this show I've had more than two people on the show at a time from a band. Yeah. So it's really cool. So we're here with Taylor.
How's it going?
What's up, man?
Nice to see you. Yeah. It's been a long time.
It's literally been a long time.
Gigs days.
Was it?
pretty much.
Didn't I see you?
I think maybe one Battle of the Bands afterwards, after everything, but I think that was it.
That was a long time ago, man. That was a long time ago. We're here with Nolan as well.
Hell yeah.
How you doing, man?
Pretty good. Yeah, it's been a while as well. I don't remember the last show I saw you at, but I know it might have been that Firehouse show we played.
I think it was the Firehouse show, yes. That was like...
Empire. That was Inside Job. My boys in Inside Job. That was their first show ever.
Shouts to them, man. They kill it. They kill it.
They've come a long way.
Yeah,
they're putting on their own festival tomorrow in downtown Oshawa. So
how the hell did I not hear about that?
What? Black Eye Fest. Hell yeah, come through.
I didn't hear about this.
Festival. There's like 12 bands on.
I need to pay more attention to this kind of shit. Wearing the Chase the Glory tattoo shop T-shirt.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Man. And records, not just tattoos,
records,
I guess.
For sure.
That's sick. And then the first time I'm meeting Jacob.
Yeah, and it's a pleasure, my dude.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I feel like I already know you. I've been talking to you for the last, I think we said from October. We've been trying to plan this.
Trying to coordinate the stuff. And yeah. So time made it better. We have more to talk about at least now, right?
Oh, for sure. And this is the majority of Beguiler. Heavy, well, I'm going to call you guys metal. I'm like one of those, I'm not a subgenre guy. It's all metal to me.
Fair enough.
You know, Beguiler. We're missing, so who are we missing? We're missing Matt. And then we're missing
Miller,
Scott.
And then Scott or bassist as well.
Yes. Again, another guy I've known for I'm pretty sure I've actually known Matt for probably 15 years.
He used to work at the Travel Plaza too, yeah?
Yeah, he used to work there. And then I know his brother too. So.
Yeah, his brother's close to your age.
Yeah, Nathan. Yeah, he's literally it's one of my boys. So I've known him for majority of my life. So.
And it's so weird hearing anyone call him Matt.
Yeah, we just call him Miller.
Yeah, see, we call my boy Nathan, we call him Miller. So it's so Matt is Matt to me, and Nathan is Miller to me. So it's or MGD, whatever you want to call him. MGD. Whatever works. So what's new and exciting in the lives of the guys from Beguiler right now? You guys just as we record this, just dropped a brand new single today. So we're definitely going to talk about that. But also you got a EP coming up for release on July 26th. Which is gonna be.
It's coming up.
It's
gonna be great.
After hearing the new single, I'm like, yo. I literally I'm not gonna lie. When we were talking about doing this, like I said, guys, we've been trying to plan this out now since definitely late last year.
Yeah,
we've kind
since
of been
the
trying
last
to
release.
Yeah,
the we got back together as a band. We were just yo, we need to get on the Hotter Show.
Because I wanted to have your ass on, Taylor. Back when I started this
years
thing,
ago.
it just never quite panned out, and then when Jacob, you hit me up again earlier this year, and you're we're doing the new EP, and I was like, all right, cool, we got to make it happen. Then just as time has gone on, it's yo, why can't I make this? Life has just been way too crazy this year, but like I said, it's cool because now there's all this stuff going on. I want to ask you guys about how you kind of got into music and influences and things like that. And also I want to, of course, ask about the recording process of the EP. But first and foremost, tell me about the single that just came out today.
Well, it was definitely, out of the 4 tracks we did, it was one of the first ones we decided it was it has to make the cut. And it's, I don't know, Born Under a Bad Sign was we recorded that in 2016 or 2017 is
3 years ago.
Yeah, because it sat for a little while, right? I think.
It sat for almost 2 years, and then we got Nolan, and because FS, our old drummer, he didn't want to continue in the band, and we're all cool and respected that, of course, but it was hard shoes to fill, right? Not everyone is into that stuff or capable, and then we got
it kind of was
Nolan.
perfect timing though, because my last band before this, Embodier, was kind of fizzling out at the time, and I was kind of looking for something else to pick up anyway, and then I saw Nick Young vocalist of Pillars of Autumn. He shared one of Jacob's posts on
those
Facebook.
guys slay, by the way.
Oh yeah.
We're playing with them on the weekend.
Yeah, they're badass.
I'm on Saturday.
He shared a post from Jacob asking if there's any drummers looking for projects and stuff, and I was just yeah, why not? I'll hit him up.
Something to do, I guess.
Yeah.
So they sent me the tracks, and I'm okay, this is pretty
well,
fun.
We did, we kind of baited them. We were hey, we're gonna give you one of the because we were debating, we should just give him the hardest one. If he can play the hardest one, he'll play the rest. And they're what if we give him the hardest one and it scares him away? So we were like, we'll give them the one that's like in the middle, medium.
Yeah, so they sent me. So I think
It was like exponential decay.
Okay,
I don't remember who it was.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So it's like
somebody sent me
kinda-
exponential decay.
Yeah.
And I thought that was pretty dope. And then I listened to the rest of the EP after I liked it, and I think I practiced that song for like 3 days or something, and then I sent Jacob a video of me playing.
And we saw it. We just saw he had the technique, so we're like, good enough, like something to work with. And then of course we all ended up getting along super well. He fits, kills the drums too, works super hard at it, which is like what we needed definitely. And then like just getting back into it, it's been a while, and like I mean the style of music we're doing is like evolved, and we just kind of even changed like what we're into and want to play. So we wanted to, you know, try and get something short out there that is kind of more relevant to us now than that last EP is. Not that we didn't enjoy that one. This one, it's just more organic. I don't know how to explain it.
Like it's still like Born Under a Bad Sound. Like when I heard it, like, because I'm not a huge deathcore guy. I'm not gonna sit here and be like, I worship deathcore. It's like, I'm more of like a metalcore like guy. Like I like my clean vocals thrown in there. My soaring choruses. But like, I heard Born Under a Bad Sound, and I'm like, yo, it still felt fresh to me. Like, cause I remember. I think like I ran into Matt somewhere and I said like, yo, when's the EP coming up? What's going on? And he's like, yeah, like I think we're gonna drop it like next year. I think this was, I don't even remember when, Matt, if you listen to this, I don't remember when the hell it was. I saw you somewhere and like, yeah, like really excited about like, like I just hope that it's like people still see it as like it's still fresh.
Yeah.
Because it's been sitting, and I was like, I'm sure it'll be fine. And like it was like right at that time period, I was just starting to kind of dip my toes a bit more into like the death metal, deathcore, just a little bit more. And I'm like, okay. And then I just jumped in with Born Under a Bad Sign. I was like, it was that main riff from Born Under a Bad Sign. That's like the song itself. Then I'm like, okay. And it goes into that verse, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, it's
sick,
just,
man.
It's badass.
And I mean, it still did probably better than we expected it to. It's just, I mean, it just felt weird because in the moment we were already looking past it
for sure,
and working on new stuff.
Yeah, we already had like new stuff in the works when that came out.
Yeah, so did you record that EP with them? Or 'cause I know you kind of
They
joined
had a
up
couple of the songs were already written before like I joined. Like Underlying Truth was already written.
Yeah, like Skinner was in our band. I
yeah,
don't know
of
if
course.
you know.
I came in,
of
learned a
course.
few of their songs, and then I think we wrote, like they already had one half finished, and then like we wrote one other song with me on that one, and then I went and recorded with them for that whole EP.
because he had to go join this little band, Skinner, I guess.
guys-
Little band people may or may not know. They called Falsifier.
They play.
I think they like may play an Armory once in a while.
No, we love those dudes, and
yeah.
when it came down to it, he was moving and stuff, and it was just a good fit, good opportunity for
And
him.
everything just ended up working out in the end, anyways. So, like,
we adopted Taylor, and it was
I hung out more with them than anyone else, anyways. So like,
It just works.
it just made a good fit. Honestly, it was.
Yeah, weren't you like driving them to shows and stuff?
Well, actually, before I was even in the band, when I had my van, I drove them on their first run, actually with Falsifier and who else was it? Being. No, it wasn't.
Yeah, it was Being for the first one, and then the other one was False Fire. This is Death Valley and Drag the Lake.
Yeah, and they asked me the day of they were supposed to leave, like being like, "Hey, I went and seen them. Like, oh, we're supposed to leave for like what was it, Windsor the first day?"
Yeah,
And then I'm like, we're supposed to rent a van, Miller, and
calling him out.
and then they're like, "Hey, you drive us?" And I was like, "As long as you pay gas and feed me, I'm down to come on Oshawa weekend. Let's go."
oh man, and then it worked out too. And
Second time you guys asked me.
Yeah, I remember the first one too. It's like Miller also brought his car as well as
Yeah, he
Taylor's
did.
van, and then we brought our other buddy Jason too, and then I swear even like Sean came or something probably too. Like,
Jason came.
okay, the Sean came for the second one then.
Sean showed up in Hamilton. Remember?
Okay,
He rolled up with Ryan.
Yeah, no, it was good. We used to have like travel in a squad.
I was gonna say, just have the whole crew with you on, just for no reason, just
because it's a party, man. It was fun.
Man, it was good times.
just the assistant to.
Yeah, and
So it was a matter of time I'd join these guys.
Well, and that's always, when I hear, I interviewed a lot of bands and stuff, and people in bands and that, and one thing I always find is that if you are friends before you are in a band, you get to know the person. You can spend time with them. Mm-hmm. And that's when you really get to know, okay, is this person going to be a good fit or not? And that's like people will say, like, what do you think is the most important thing about being in a band? Or what do you think is like the best way to know if your band is going to work? And I say one thing, get everyone in your band and put them in a really small room for like a week. At the end of that week, if you don't want to kill each other, you're good to go.
Yeah.
If you want to murder each other at the end of that week, just call it quits now. It's not going to work.
I mean, there's always those moments, but it's about being able to get over them, right?
Of course,
it's just human nature.
So it's like a family kind of thing. You'll get in your spits, but as long as you're upfront and honest all the time, then that's all you need to be.
It's like a relationship too. Sometimes you just like, man, I can't even look at you right now. It's like you got to look past it, and you got to be able to kind of, and sometimes you can't, and that's okay,
Because at the end of the day, we're all here for the same goal. We want to see this thing go.
You want to crush,
exactly,
and destroy. That's it. So how did and we'll get back into more of the stuff like that. But how did I'm curious. I always like to ask you about this. How did you guys get into music first? Off, like, what was some of the first music you heard?
First music I heard to get me even want to pick up a guitar was like AC/DC.
Yeah,
that was like I was seeing. Oh man,
every basic kids
exactly. First song I ever learned was TNT.
That's actually I usually it's either Back in Black or it's Thunderstruck. It's usually that's actually
that was one where I just thought, because I love the oi. That was like one of my favorite things back in the. My dad got me like this AC/DC Big Balls DVD set, so I had like a live set and then like all their music videos and all that. That was a fun time.
TNT, like, I guess it's a hard song, but when you're 10 years old, it's hard as hell. Like, you know what I mean?
It's like when you first hear like real rock and roll for the first time. Like, I can remember hearing like Black Sabbath, and even though Black Sabbath is quote unquote metal, whatever, like I can remember hearing that sound for the first time where I'm like, what the hell is that? Or first time you hear Zeppelin, or first time you hear AC/DC. Compare that to the first time I ever heard metal. Like, it's a different.
Oh yeah,
it's a different feeling, man. Like when you're a kid.
Yeah, like when I more or less that was what inspired me to pick up guitar was like AC/DC. But it wasn't until like I got in like high school and then listened to like A Day to Remember, stuff like that. And then I like got more into like what they did on like a live setting, and then was like, oh my god, like I want to go on the road. I want to do all this stuff.
I want to be a rock star.
Exactly. It's like I want to live the rock star life, living in a van for like 2 months.
Living in a van, making no money.
Exactly.
Can't pay my mortgage or my rent. That's what it's all about, man.
Yeah.
That is the absolute life. So when you started playing guitar, Taylor, was there any kind of more specific players that really got you to want to start really diving into it seriously? Or
like, it was when it first happened, like I actually really wanted to be a drummer. I was like all into drums. I wanted to be, and plus like I started in school like as a percussionist in school, but then it wasn't until like it was my grade 8 birthday, so I think I was like 13. My parents got me a guitar and a little amp for my birthday, and at that point I was like, you know what, let's give this a shot. They got me lessons. I took lessons for like 6 months at Hands On. Shout out to Hands On.
Shout out to Hands On.
And then it was after that, once I learned like technique, I started just learning like rock and roll songs and songs my dad would always listen to. He always like suggests like, hey, you should learn this song.
It's a good foundation to start off with the rock.
Exactly. So I learned like some Jimi Hendrix. I learned some AC/DC. Even started getting into like the Black Sabbath and stuff like that. And then it wasn't until after that when I started extending out into like more like hard rock stuff, where it started to get a little heavier, and then I found drop tunings, and I was like,
you find drop tunings, and
once you find drop tunings,
and then you heard Unholy Confession, and you learned Unholy Confession, and you covered Unholy Confessions for a while, then you're like, okay, I can move on now.
Yeah,
I have learned all I can learn.
Yeah. But yeah, and then it wasn't. And then once you started listening to metal and trying to learn metal music, it was definitely what set me off, and I was like, okay, this is what I want to play, like this kind of music.
It's that level of passion and release that you get in metal music that like I find you can't get in rock and roll. And that's with all due respect. Yeah, I'm a rock guy, but like there's that emotional release with metal music that you just don't get with anything else, whether it's
I feel like I'm attacking my guitar.
Exactly.
And I'm playing.
Yeah.
Like, I am just like, it's like full on aggression. Like, and even now, like I've evolved even from what I've played before. Like I thought like back maybe 4 years ago, I would have been like, this, I'm happy where I'm at. Like I'm comfy with what I'm playing with. And then when I joined these guys, it pushed my boundaries.
Because that's a whole, that was like a whole
nother
realm.
Yeah. It was like,
with all due respect to the stuff you were playing before, like that's a whole other
like
level.
it's like I was happy with that, and like I was super comfortable playing that stuff, and like I was like really happy with that. But then it wasn't this, and once it pushed me out of my comfort zone, and I like really like got into playing it, I was like, holy crap! Like I love this. Like it's so much fun.
Yeah, definitely. And it's like when you really start to push yourself in the limits of what you can do, it's like, oh man, I'll never be able to play that.
You surprise yourself.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it's definitely a badass feeling for sure. How about you, Nolan? What was some of the first music you heard, and then kind of what got you into playing drums more?
For me, Nickelback, no question. Absolute first band that I started. Yes, thank you, thank you.
Huge Nickelback fan. They were my first favorite band, dude.
Yeah,
You can't hate. You can't hate.
I don't know where it came from.
Yes, you can.
It might have just come out of the ground when we bought the
cut
house.
his mic.
But we just for some reason always had this like Nickelback like music video compilation CD or whatever it was. I don't know what they put it out.
Probably
for.
their best of.
Yeah, best of or greatest hits or something like that. But we just had like a fucking like video of like Nickelback, and some of them were like music videos, some of them were like live.
You know what it was?
Concerts, and I don't know what it was.
I have the DVD. I know exactly. It's called The Singles, and it's literally.
Yeah, it might have been, but I remember the first video and the thing that I saw was Leader of Men. When fucking Chad Kroger is like in the fucking like studio and he smashes his guitar through the window. I thought that shit was the most badass thing ever, and I was like, okay, this is something cool. This is different.
Just talking about mushrooms. Like, come on,
exactly.
man. Jeez.
Yeah, so Nickelback was the first band that really kind of struck a chord with me, I guess, and kind of started my musical evolution, I would say. And
they evolved so much too.
Oh, yeah,
right?
for
Like
sure.
You look at like it's like I got into them like The State, that record that had Leader of Men on. That was like when I discovered them.
Yeah,
right
for
before How You Were Mine.
Yeah.
You know, all that stuff. And
yeah, The
so
Long
like,
Road is my favorite.
Yeah.
It's so good. It's a masterpiece. It's so good.
I love that shit.
Yeah, then after that, I found Audio Slave and Rage Against the Machine, Soundgarden, Wolf Mother, a lot of old weird kind of bands, I guess. Mostly just music I would get from my parents, I guess. First major like drummer that I really started like following and picking up a lot, I guess, was Mitch Mitchell. He was the original drummer for Jimi Hendrix. He played like a lot of really, really crazy stuff that I admired before I was even like starting to play drums. And then I started, I think, I have no idea how old I was, but I played Rock Band or something at somebody's house for the first time and thought it was so cool that I could do that. And I was
Like, I can hit this and it makes noise.
I played a solid beat for like a minute or two and thought that it was the coolest shit ever. So I begged my mom for lessons, and then we started going to Millennium Music. That was great by
shout out
Curtis.
to Millennium
Yeah,
Music.
Millennium Music was the shit, man.
Those guys are badass.
Yeah,
man.
I had an amazing teacher though. He was really, really good.
I think my buddy probably had the same. What was his? Do you remember his
Rob.
name? Rob. Yeah.
Yeah.
My shout out to Rob. He was a good dude.
Yeah, he was a really, really good teacher though. He was, I don't even know how to describe him, but he was very kind of strict with the way he would teach, and he would make sure that I'm doing everything properly. So I didn't like develop any bad techniques when I was learning or anything, because I know like breaking bad habits when you're playing music, when you've been playing
hard,
something
man. Yeah.
breaking bad habits with music is really hard. So he had me started off pretty well, and then
So you learn like the theory. And
Yeah, exactly. Exactly, yeah.
Can you read sheet it off for drums?
I read
that's-
sheet music. Yeah.
Most drummers, I ask that, and they're like, "The fuck?
Yeah, well-
there's sheet music for drums?"
Well,
Like,
also from there, I had also a really incredible music teacher in high school. He was like so passionate about music, and any kids that he found were like exceptional at what they do, and they had any kids really that he found that had a passion for music, he would kind of help them, not like more than other kids, but he would really help
soak that fire.
Yeah, exactly. He would really help kids excel, and yeah, I credit Mr. Isabella for all my skills for reading sheet music and everything like that, because I was in the pit band at my school for a couple years, so we played Annie and Willy Wonka in the Chocolate Factory, so I got to play in the bands for those live...
The hits.
Yeah, those live musicals. It was fun, so yeah, I got to learn.
I can definitely relate with that stuff.
Yeah,
being in band and stuff, I can definitely thank my music teacher as well. Like, so even just learning theory in general, being able to learn that stuff.
Yeah, but then after a while, Millennium Music closed down, and I didn't go to take music lessons for a while. I think after that, I just stuck on my own, and I had started to kind of teach myself how to learn songs and everything, and just like, I was basically I think that was the beginning of my like big kind of Avenged Sevenfold stage, because that's what it was for me.
Everyone
it's like I didn't have
I
didn't listen to everything at once. I listened to one band individually for a specific amount of time. So it was like Nickelback for a couple years, and then like Audio Slave and Rage Against the Machine, and then Avenged Sevenfold for like 3.5 stupid years.
Hey, don't do that. Don't backtrack. It's all good.
So I learned literally every Avenged Sevenfold song at the time before Hail to the King. So everything from Sounding the Seventh Trumpet up to Nightmare I learned, and that was like obviously like the Rev from that was like one of my biggest.
Just a one of a kind.
Yeah, he's
drummer,
incredible.
Man.
So the Rev definitely helped me a lot with that and kind of excelling there, and then.
And what a record too, Nightmare.
Oh, I know.
Like, just
incredible.
That record.
Well, that record.
That was like
unfortunately
the first I ever heard of them
that was after Rev passed. That was Mike Portnoy on that record. But then after that, after playing on my own for a while, my older brother, had a kid in his grade named Gavin Wilson, and they were friends.
Shouts to Gavin.
And they were friends, and Gavin knew that I played drums, and because he saw my drum set a couple times when he was over hanging out with my brother, and. Literally one day, I think it was in grade 9 or 10, I just got a message from Gavin saying like, "Hey man, you want to play in a band?" And I'm like, "Yeah, hell yeah, man.
We're gonna be
let's try it." And then so then me and Gavin and Tyler Mercer, we all jammed one day, and then
that's a Tyler.
Yeah, that's how I met Tyler. Yeah, and then met everyone else in Bodier, and well, at the time it was Altercations. And then,
which I still say was a badass name. I don't care what anyone says.
Yeah, it was okay. It was okay, but there was another band in the States that had it as well, and they were getting really big. And then Embodier played for a while, and then we talked about earlier how I just saw that message from Nick Young and hit up Jacob, and then that's where my music.
And the rest was history.
Exactly.
Now he's on that death metal grind.
Yeah. Now he's Blast Beat 3000.
From Willy Wonka to double bass and
Blast Beats. So what? Like, I'm curious because I have zero rhythm when it comes to like anything, and I've always wanted to be a drummer. But like anytime I get behind a kid, I'm always like. Mm-hmm. I can do this for the most part. Yeah, it's this shit that I can't.
Yeah,
defeat. So like, how did you like? So like back when you were playing, like even when you started with that theory background, like did you kind of learn like how to like put all that together as far as like with fast feet and like that those really intricate blast feet parts?
I'd say I developed that part of my playing like
kind of more later on.
I developed that definitely on my own, like during my own like kind of playing and writing with Altercations and Embodier.
Because it's not like Embodier stuff wasn't. Fast
to me, like back then when we first wrote that stuff was like crazy fast for me. But it was just such a different type of playing than what I'm currently playing with these guys. But I don't know. Yeah, I think every musician has like a little breakthrough moment when they're first learning an instrument or coming, like kind of like a short little coming of age moment where they realize like something that they thought was hard before is suddenly like doable, and it's kind of like the spark that lets you know that you're good and you can keep picking.
It's like
stuff
just
up.
one day.
Yeah,
you
exactly.
Pick it up and you're like, I can do this. Cool.
I had like that like exact breakthrough moment when I was like a little kid, and like the one specific like beat that I was having such a hard time on, and it was like such a simple thing to do, but like breaking through that and being able to like play that and like it's like one like starting my practice not being able to and then ending it being able to, it is what I think every musician has a little moment like that somewhere where that happens.
Well, and that's why music's such a beautiful thing, man.
Yeah, exactly.
You can start off your day, I can't play this riff, and then at the end of the day, I can play that riff now, that's sick.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Even if you did nothing else all day, you accomplished that.
Yeah.
So that's badass, man. Definitely badass. So how about you, Jacob? What was kind of your introduction to music, and how did you get into this whole crazy world of, you know, I guess I call it like guttural vocals. Is that like the proper term, or like,
I don't know. I there's all types of terms for it, but I guess like the most like centered term would be like extreme vocals.
Yeah,
so I've been seeing that a lot. That's.
But you kind of go all over the place,
vocals,
man.
yeah.
Like you got a fucking voice on you, man, because like you're not just all like low all the time. You're not just high all the time. You kind of like you can pitch it, and like it's you kind of hit all fronts on that kind of more like extreme metal vocalist vibe to me.
Yeah, well, I definitely just like to have variety in it, right? Like in I mean, sometimes just accenting like certain pronunciations and stuff. It's like, you know, it's fun. Sounds cool. So it's just all kind of comes out naturally. You know what I mean? And then, like, I guess my introduction to music wasn't really significant until I was probably like 5 or 6 years old. That's when I started paying attention to it. And I remember Labatt Blue. Not that I drank it at the time.
Okay.
Clear that up.
They did this like summer promo thing where they were putting Canadian bands little three song demos in it that all these bands had new records coming out. Yeah. And so they did Sum 41, Tragically Hip, and I think the last one was Blue Rodeo or something. But I got the Sum 41 CD from my dad because he just bought the beer. He didn't give a shit.
He was like, the fuck is Sum 41?
Gave me the music. And then it was a bunch of tracks off Does This Look Infected that was coming out. And I mean, that was when I first listened to it. I was like, this is cool as shit. And then I mean, I kind of got into that whole like punk rock, I guess, more like, yeah, it's Sum 41, Green Day, Simple Plan, like in the 5-6 year old days for sure. Like, and that stuff's all nostalgic to me. But
it's funny how when you were 5 or 6, punk rock was like when I was 5 or 6, it was like Barney and Friends for me.
Well, I mean, I listened to a bit of everything, right? Like, I mean, even at that age, it's like, you know, I found all types of music that just interested me. Not even necessarily like it was my favorite thing, but I was actually paying attention to it. Mm-hmm. And I feel like that grabbed my interest. And, you know, you just kind of like, I remember I'd have my Walkman at the time and I'd just like sit around and listen to different CDs, go to school. Me and my friends would trade CDs. Then like, you know, we went through like the whole early 2000s, like Eminem 50 Cent thing when they were like basically Planet Earth.
I didn't know if you were gonna go the rap way or like the new metal way for a second. I was like,
but then I got back more into like I started finding bands like Disturbed and all that stuff. Also, like I'd listen to Black Sabbath, and that was also something that made me want to get into music. I wanted to play drums after listening to a lot of like Ozzy Osbourne and Black Sabbath, and then I did start playing drums. That was my first instrument for a while. I'd do like all like the rock kind of stuff, and then I heard Slipknot, of course, and then that became my life for like 3 years, like what Nolan said, and maybe even longer. Slipknot was, I was obsessed with like them, but especially Joey Jordison. And
well, yeah, you're talking like Slipknot's that band for so many people.
Yeah, and especially just our generation, I feel in general. And then that led me into finding more metal on YouTube. You know, I remember in grade 8, I started coming across like Entombment of the Machine, all like the Pig Squill stuff, Suicide Silence, Whitechapel. Stuff I had never heard of before, and I was like, holy crap,
what the hell is this? The first time you hear like a pig squeal like in like a serious way, because like I can remember like when I was in high school, people would do it as like a joke. They're like, it was like this joke. Whereas then like, but then this guy's people actually do this in music.
It grew on a bunch of people, man.
Oh yeah,
and all of a sudden, all these preppy kids in my grade 8 class were like, yo, you listen to Job for a Cowboy and doing pig spills. That lasted like a week, but you know, some of us held on. And like Scott, our bassist, Scott actually went to the same elementary school as me for like grade 7 and 8, so that's where I actually met him. And he was into all the same type of music that I was getting into. Like we listened to like the Black Dahlia Murder, all that stuff. We kind of started listening to all that stuff on MySpace's way out, so we still got a good taste of that MySpace deathcore. We'd just be showing each other all these like just stupid heavy bands,
Bucket of Afterbirth.
Yeah, like just bands that post one track on YouTube and you never hear them again, but they were wicked and stuff like that.
Stabbed in the face beyond all recognition.
Yeah, man. And
I'm just making shit up at this point.
Basically, but like in grade 8 I started doing like the vocal stuff. Bring Me the Horizon, like count Your Blessings. That was like a huge influence for me back when, you know, he did the straight nasty vocals, and then I started doing that stuff. And then me and Scott started our first band when I was in like grade 9. It was a god awful band, but you know, it gave us tons of experience, and
for sure,
we just kind of kept going with it. And then we changed our name to Erase the Beginning, and
that's badass.
Yeah, and then
Erase the Beginning.
And then we you know, we started to kind of just understand more of like what we want to do as a band, and just heavier music in general. And then that band kind of fell apart, and then Skinner and Miller and FS, they were in the same rehearsal factory as us. So it was called the Rehearsal Factory. It's like jam spot where people rent out rooms, and they were starting a band, and
AKA
they already
Space.
had
The Space.
Yeah,
Dispatch.
they already had Beguiler going, and I guess just like some of the people that they started the group with, just like, you know, it didn't work out, and then Skinner asked us to come in. Well, he wanted us both in, but Scott didn't want to do it at first. And then, you know, after I showed him the music, we were rehearsing, he was like, all right, I'll come out. And then he loved it. And then I've just been going since then, man. It just kind of...
That was a while ago that they started, because like I can remember I was still at the store when they started Beguiler. That was like 2015, I think, or something like that ballpark.
Yeah, we started around 2015, and
it always takes some time though, to kind of get going, you know.
And we were always like, you know, we'd go on hiatus for a bit because, like, you know, stuff would happen in life.
Life's busy, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and we didn't have, like, I guess the right type of like idea of what we actually need to do to make it happen and balance life, because, you know, it is a lot more than it seems like before you're actually trying it. And I don't know, that's basically it. Just I don't know how engaged I'd be in heavy music if I hadn't have been playing it since I was in grade 9, but like regardless, I love it, and it's been my life since then. So yeah,
for sure. So I'm always curious with, like, you know, again, quote unquote extreme metal vocalists, how exactly did you learn to like properly, because I'm assuming you're not tearing your throat at every single show. Like, it sounds like you know what you're doing listening to it, even just on recordings.
Yeah, well, I mean, back then I remember going on like YouTube, and I'd look at other people doing vocal covers and stuff.
Just sitting there, like, cupping the mic, just screaming away.
Like, oh, you know, all of them were probably terrible quality back then, because like this was like 2010, like even before then.
The dark days of YouTube.
Yeah, like 2009. And then I remember watching this video, and this guy was talking about how, you know, it's a lot of the same foundation as actual singing, like as far as your breathing and stuff like that. Like, it's all your breathing power, your diaphragm.
Once you learn how to breathe, you're good, basically. Yeah.
And yeah, it's just kind of weird. Like, you don't really use, you don't use your throat. It all comes from down there, like in your gut. And, yeah, I don't know. I just started doing it, and, you know, I'm sure it wasn't amazing, but I remember like showing some people, and they're like, yeah, like that's not bad. Like keep doing it. And, you know, I started to like it more and more. And after like a year or two of doing it and improving, you know, I wasn't feeling any discomfort or like having any issues with my voice. And like, I still haven't since then. So I must be doing something right.
Exactly.
Like, so
you'd know pretty quick if you weren't, because like when you try to quote unquote scream,
Yeah.
You know, to play screamo. Shit. I'm just messing with you. Like, you start to try and do it, and if like you'll know, oh, ow, that really hurts. I'm not going to do that anymore.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like a huge thing is not pushing yourself with that because
and it's
you know
the breathing.
Yeah, you'll get more stamina over time. But yeah, if you were to not ever do it and then you go 40 minutes straight, like you're gonna feel it. But that's the same with singing, right? If you all of a sudden can hit these notes and then you decide that you're gonna sing for,
I'm gonna go on tour for
exactly.
Guess
like
what?
you're after not very long you're gonna be feeling it. So yeah, it's I guess it's just kind of like that.
It's like anything, even with podcasting. When you sit down with someone who's never done a podcast before, and it's just you and one other person talking for an hour. At the end of that, they're like, oh shit! Like, they're like, what the hell? I'm like, it's a different ball game, man. It really is.
For sure.
It definitely is. So we're gonna take a quick second here, as I need to give a big shout out to my man, Mr. Jason Reese from Jaybird Digital Arts, the man who does all of my logos and my banners and anything at all design wise for the Hotter Show, Podbeard Network, mics and beers, and literally any project that I do. You can bet your ass that Jason is involved, and we're actually gonna hear from the man himself right now.
It's your guy, Jaybird here from Jaybird Digital Arts, reminding you to tune in to the Hotter Show podcast. Hell, tune into all of the Podbeard Network shows, and not just because they support Jaybird, but because they're good. And I'll give you a discount on design work if you do. Beat that deal, I dare ya.
So we talked a little bit about influences, we talked a little bit about you guys getting into music. Now, I want to discuss, and also, my freaking mic stand is not cooperating with me. I want to discuss a little bit about the upcoming EP, and also we have a very special treat for the listeners of the Hotter Show here today, as we are going to actually play you guys a track from the upcoming EP, and I'm going to pass over to the guys who are going to introduce the track.
Yeah, so the track is Crutch, and it's off our upcoming EP, A Conscious Decline.
Badass song. I'm actually going to hear this song for the first time, so you guys are going to get my quote-unquote live reaction after we hear the track. So crank it up. This is Crutch.
There's a
So that was Crutch. If you're still with us, because your mind has been melted away. God damn, guys, what the hell? Just kicked my teeth down my damn throat. After a song that's that intense and that fast, like, Nolan, do you just have to take a break after?
Oh
that?
yeah,
What's up?
it's always it's a tough one. I usually have my forearms usually burning after the end of that. It's a fast one, yeah.
I'm sitting there trying to pay attention because as much as I love guitar and that and I dug the guitar for that too. What you guys are doing, man, because it's not all just there's a lot of other. I'm not gonna try and sit here and dissect the track right now because my brain's not fully functioning as it normally does, but there's so much going on, and then it was every time I thought I was okay, yeah, Jacob's kind of found his voice for the song, I literally kept saying what the fuck, just kept finding new areas of your voice to just pull out, and it's jeez.
Yeah, man, I definitely with that track, I just wanted to make it sound wide, and then what you were saying about how it sounds a whole nother voice. It's I just wanted that wide.
Yeah, if you said there was 3 or 4 other vocalists in that track, I believe you. I'd be yeah, okay, cool. That sounds like it.
Yeah, I think the vocal range from where you were at during Born Under a Bad Sign to now is significantly different.
And even your vocal range in Bob's was also pretty big as well. Yeah. You just made it bigger.
All y'all flatter me.
He's just kind of shit.
I try, and I always like anyone, you're always your own worst critic.
Oh,
and
yeah,
I feel
100%.
with anything, now I've been doing it 7 or 8 years. You just get bored with doing the same ranges. I like to, spice it up for a bit. Definitely tried to challenge myself with these songs, and I going through practice, I know I achieved it because it's we're all dying, but it's it's just sounding good, and it's great. I'm really happy.
Yeah, I'm really happy for everyone to hear all the new stuff. It's gonna be
it's definitely something I'm really, really proud of. It's
we worked
my
really
first
hard.
piece of music putting it with you guys, and it's been fun.
It's a complete the stuff in Born Under a Bad Sign is there's technicality in there, and there's extreme parts where I'm going holy crap, but
but I feel this is
that's just what the
But I feel with this EP, because I feel it's mainly because we changed our writing style, the way we wrote. With Born Under a Bad Sign, we used to do full band jam. We get together, whoever's got some ideas to throw something together, and we'll try and make a song like that. Where it's now we set up our laptop and we just write riffs and try and construct a song. So
and here's this part, here's this part.
And then, so we kind of get more in depth into our writing style, and we really, and then once we make a song, we sit on it for 2 weeks, and we're after 2 weeks, do we still like it? We're hearing it recorded, where when you're hearing it jamming, it could be different every time you do it. Everything can fluctuate.
Everything's a good idea in the moment.
Exactly.
And I feel that's the best part about it, because we go in there, and then it's we get to write the song, and I'll usually just throw in some program drums or whatever, and occasionally do the pre-production vocals too, and we'll get to hear it recorded before we actually go and record it, and we'll pick the best songs. We know it's if Taylor said, we sit on it for a few weeks. After a few weeks, if there's parts where we're could be better, then we're just we're maybe we'll come back to it, but for now we'll do something that's more up to par with our best.
Yeah, and letting it kind of stew and be okay, I can still hear that part in my head, so it's got to be good. It's got to be okay.
Exactly, and it saved us for time. That was a huge thing, because the way we used to write as a full band, we're all adults, have full schedules. We can only jam so much. It would take forever to write a song. With this, we can go write a song we like, and then we learn it, and we've already heard the song a bunch and end up learning it quicker, so
for sure. So run me through kind of the full recording process. Obviously, we're talking about A Conscious Decline, which is the EP that's coming out on July 26th.
Yeah.
Is that it? Yes, perfect. And it's, just judging off of Cynical, which actually dropped today as we are recording this.
Slam Worldwide. Shout out
which
to
is
them.
a badass track. You guys can go on and check it out right now on the YouTube and go check it out. I'll try and remember to link it in the description for this as well for you guys to check out. And then obviously with Crutch, like what you just heard, it's going to be a banger of an EP. So run me through kind of the recording process. Like what was like you guys were mentioning how like you kind of like whittled down to the best songs. Like did you have like a big array of songs, or were you?
I think we had like 2 or 3 more. I think
we had in total like 8. I would say just because when we came back after being on hiatus and got Nolan back, we started pre-proing, like recording some of our songs that we had written before the band went on hiatus, but we never used. And then just to kind of, feel out like the new, I was just working with some new recording stuff.
Sure.
So we were just trying to feel that out. And we just decided we wanted to take some of the songs in a different direction. So then we started writing some of the songs that actually ended up on the EP and then a few that didn't. And
then I think there were some parts from new songs on the EP that we took from like old songs.
Yeah, like stuff we wouldn't use. We do dissect some.
Frankenstein some stuff.
And like it's, just to get the best end result and where we could listen to something front to back and be happy with it. No parts where we were like, we could have done something better here, right? So like, yeah. Like that was a huge thing for us. Like I feel like we didn't settle so that in the end gave us a better end result.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, I'm hoping to do a full review of that also once it does come out. But so you've got 4 tracks on the EP. Run me through each track. Like obviously, as people hearing this, the EP is not out yet. So what can people expect from each track?
I feel like you can expect something different from each track for sure. Like, I mean, if you listen to Cynical and then listen to Crutch, like they're 2 pretty different songs, like as far as melody and key and structure.
I feel like every song has its own like unique feel and atmosphere, but they all kind of tie into each other a little bit. Yeah,
a huge thing is definitely it's kind of on the darker side for most things. Like I mean, I went through like a lot of crap with like the year we were off and stuff, and I mean, I was some of the most personal stuff I wrote, and it was just from a place in my head that like, it wasn't right. Like, so it helped me work through a lot of shit in that way. But I feel like the whole EP kind of reflects that like negative.
Yeah, I feel like if you read through the album, like the lyrics, you can really feel like the personal touch from it.
And even a lot of the kind of off key like melodies and stuff like that are like dissonant chords and
it's very dark
like
and like even on Crutch, like when now that I'm sitting here kind of processing things a little more, it's like there's moments in that song where it's just like shit, like that's just it's dark and but it's not like dark for the sake of being dark.
Yeah,
it's like you feel like there's there's a story being told here.
Yeah, it's a whole vibe, and it kind of like it's just straight aggression. For me, it was like therapy, writing all that stuff after we had this EP, and
that's how it should
finish it. Yeah, it's like I've honestly I haven't felt like this in like a year or more now. Like so, it's good. Like so I'm happy with that aspect of it.
Oh, for sure. I mean, then like I was touching on earlier, metal and heavy music, quote unquote, is it's a release that people like us who enjoy this kind of music, and even if it's not quite like, even though like like I said earlier, I'm not necessarily a deathcore guy totally, but like I can appreciate the fact that like this is a release like for someone like yourself, Jacob, who like it it is so personal, and if you were just quote unquote singing these words, would it have the same effect on you that they do? Maybe not. Maybe having that that extreme, I don't know why I keep doing air quotes.
Adding on to what you're just saying, like I feel like what you said is the case. It really, with Born Under a Bad Sign, it's like I'm happy with what came out with that, but it's like it doesn't actually truly mean anything to me anymore. Whereas like this, it reflects like a period of my life that will always be there.
Stuff that's more personal.
And so no matter what, it may I may have a different perception of it in the future, but it will still always mean something to me. And it's the first, like, at least heavy release I've ever worked on, or heavy parts of music where it's like truly meant something to me. And it's like I felt like the emotion like right after we had finished it. It's like I'd listen back to it, and it's like I'd never felt that way after writing stuff. And it's just from the personal kind of connection to it.
Sometimes, man, it's just getting it out.
Yeah, exactly. Which I
just going, okay.
don't. If you know me, I don't. I'm a pretty monotone, dry person. So
until you're on stage and you're screaming at people with us.
I like yelling in a microphone.
Yeah, well, and I mean, it's you know, I know I'm hyped for it. I can't wait for this weekend EP to come out. And I mean, if it's any indication on the you know, on Cynical and then the track again that we just heard, Crutch, it's gonna be
even the songs that we have
bangers
written like after.
Yeah, we're already.
So I was gonna say you guys are probably already working on more stuff. Right now.
Even the new stuff is like even like I can.
So we're definitely trying to
a step above like what we have coming out now.
Yeah, I feel like we are starting to find that sound. Like I said, it's got, these songs have quite a bit of variety on it, and it's like we still always have that in our song structures, but now we really are kind of finding like an alley where it's of types, like kind of vibes that you just feel while writing.
It's not all you know, like super intense all the time,
or like riffs,
kinda, okay.
or it's not like Riff Salad, like a bunch of like random stuff. It's
like, we always try to avoid a Riff Salad.
That's a term we use.
As much as some people love Riff Salads, it's just
it does work sometimes.
It does work sometimes, but like it's you're looking for
time and place for.
We're looking for songs that's going to give you a feel. Like
I need a good riff burger. You know what I'm saying? I need a good old fashioned riff.
Or it's gonna be hearty throughout the whole thing.
Like, just give me meat and potatoes. Give me like because I'm a big like, you know, that like just down tune like one or two riffs in a song type stuff, or like I'm a big Hatebreed fan too, right? So like that quote unquote caveman music. Let a caveman live, bro. Give me a 4-6-1, you know. So it's like I can dig that. And like that's why like the song itself, Born Under a Bad Sign, that was more like up my alley as far as riffage. And again, it's not, you know, quote unquote
it's
Riff
based around
Salad.
That like one chug riff for most of the song.
And I feel like that is the one song though on that EP that had the most kind of like eerie vibe to it.
Oh, it was really dark. That's what
it's the most recognizable for people watching too. Like most people who have come up to me after the show always comment on Born Under a Bad Sign and stuff like that.
It's got such a cool, like you think it's gonna go one way, and then
all my
it kicks into that verse,
and
you're like, what the?
All my friends who like don't listen to metal but like support me and my band and stuff, like the only song they can like recognize from us is Born Under a Bad Sign, like right away. So.
And it's that dynamic, you know, that like as time goes on, I'm sure that, you know, like you guys have already said that like the new stuff you guys are working on, you know. I mean, at some point I'm expecting a ballad, but you know, that's just me.
A ballad. I'll write you a nice murder ballad.
Dude.
A murder ballad.
I mean, yeah, like make it a dark, but you know, it's like
I guess it doesn't have to be a murder ballad.
I want a nice ballad about me. Can you guys make it happen?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Just the trials and tribulations of TJ.
Yes. Trials and tribulations, the TJ Harder story. That's good. Well, something I always like to ask people kind of as we get ready to wind down here, and thank you guys very much again for coming out so late.
Thanks for having us.
You know, it's like we're recording. It's like, you know, 12:15 on a freaking Thursday, and we're recording right now. So thank you guys for toughing out with me on this. But do you guys have like an all-time favorite show that you've ever played, or the flip side of it, like the worst show you've ever played and the funny story from it?
Best show I've ever played was with Embodier opening up for Rivers of Nile. That was absolutely insane.
That was a cool thing.
That was really good. Absolute worst show was the Human Compost show when the guy destroyed my bass drum.
Human Compost.
Yeah. Shout out to Human Compost and their shitty drummer.
It's hard to say, man. Honestly, I got a lot of like funny stories from shows. Like, I mean, even Beguiler. There's like a few bands we had played a few, like kind of like not like a streak of shows, but like over like a few months, we kept seeing them on a monthly basis. We'd be playing shows together, and I think 3 shows in a row almost that like we played with these bands. It was if I recall, Allies to the Adversary, and My Home the Catacombs, and Falsifier. Whenever we played a show together, someone pissed their pants. Not someone in the band, someone at the show.
Everyone would be funny if it was someone in the band.
And yeah, man, it's just like that is something else. Like the first time was someone that was just too drunk at the bar, and they pissed themselves and were like walking around the dance floor. And it was just something else. And then he sat in the booth. And then another time was James Frederick Wilson. Shout out to him for sure. He was this I don't know, questionable character that showed up outside a show when after we loaded in, and it was before the show. So he's like, hey, like, what are you guys doing around here? And like just being sketchy. And eventually he did pee his pants in the parking lot in front of us. So
I was waiting for the punchline on that. I'm like, so did he pee his pants? And what's that?
Yeah, that was real interesting. And I mean, God bless his soul, but yeah, that's those got to be some of the funniest ones. I think some of the best shows we played were probably with Falls Fire and like This Is Death Valley and
This Is Death Valley, Drag, two just heavy hitters in the local scene.
And I mean, for local shows, like there were times when we opened up for like some great bands. Like one of the second show we ever played, we got to open for Split Runs Black and Rings of Saturn, and that was an amazing experience for sure. And then I feel like the other shows, it was just great because they were all local shows and they all had like a great draw. And I don't know, it was great to be a part of that. And rest in peace, This is Death Valley and Drag.
Yeah.
But, man, I got into Drag the Lake right at the end, and I was so bummed out. I missed the boat on all that.
Oh man,
like, especially like This Is Death Valley, because like I'm 27, right? So like This Is Death Valley and all those guys, like when they like started, I was like in high school, like, oh, listen to this metal shit.
I think I was like 10 or 11.
Oh, listen to Nickelback.
I was when I was in high school, it was kind of like a bit more in style. It was definitely going out. But when I was in high school, there was a group of us that you know loved to go out to those shows, and then of course we got to play with them a lot. Got to know them now. Actually, Swain is our booking agent.
Yeah,
and
that's cool that he's still doing something.
With,
that's cool.
Yeah, he helps us out with some management things. Just it's always good to have another set of eyes, set of ears. That's
I'm glad that I didn't have to go through management to make this chat happen.
Oh no, he's good.
For some reason, nothing turns me off more than when I hit up a band and they're like, "Oh, contact our manager." I'm like, yeah. But I'm talking to you right now.
Yeah,
I'm just a fucking
like my
podcaster,
favorite
dude.
show was probably back like out of my league playing with North Lane, opening up for that.
Yeah, that was bad.
Of course, this guy over here,
dude.
Like
that was wonderful.
That was a fun time. Like, that was probably one of my favorite shows. Like probably the most people have ever played in front of. Probably the worst show was probably the one when I was still out of my league and played with you guys at the Atria Beguiler before I was in it, and I was trying to start a circle pit with Jason, and fucking he tripped into my face and broke my nose.
Yeah, that was another one.
I remember seeing a picture of that or something.
And I was thinking of that too, because like funny stories, like that's another one. Before Taylor was in the band, he got his nose broken accidentally
in a
during
pit
our set.
Of Beguiler.
Yeah,
that was
during our
Beguiler
set.
pit,
So
and I got my nose broken.
It's interesting. Yeah,
Oh, man.
I mean, I feel like we've all been lucky enough to open some pretty sweet shows. Like I mean, even like another shout out to Wraith when I was with them. I got to open for Die Art at
cool.
Opera House, so that was like hype show for sure. But like I mean, it still didn't have like the same intensity for me as like when I get to play with these guys. It's like
for sure, it's a different level.
Yeah, it just means more, I think, to me for sure.
Once they're your boys, you know, that's your family. You know, it's like that.
Sure.
You know, like I've gotten to have some pretty cool interviews, but like nothing beats sitting down with people I know and people I've known for so long, and like or catching up with someone like I've been with you guys, getting to know you, Jacob. Like it's like it's such a different vibe than It's like, oh, this is a really cool interview, but like, I don't know this person. I'm probably never going to talk to this person again. So it's it's just like, man, it's a different vibe for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Well, that's badass, boys. It's been a hell of a time having you guys on. And I appreciate you again coming out and hanging.
Yeah,
Where can
definitely.
where can the people find Beguiler? If they
Yeah.
wanna check you out?
So 2 days from now, which I mean, I guess it won't be 2 days from now.
This will be out on the
when this is up.
18th.
All right. So
on the 18th.
Quick shout out to Pillars of Autumn. We're playing their CD release in 2 days. That's at the Hard Luck, July 13th. And then we're also doing another show in Newmarket the day after the EP releases. So July 27th. And that is going to be with our homies in Being and another band, So Along the Shoreline. And there is...
Damn, who else is on that? I don't remember.
Yeah, we sound terrible right now, but
I'm so sorry.
Whoever that is.
it's a solid lineup. After Party Bookings is putting it on. I'm pretty sure it's off. No, it's Off the Hook promo. Sorry, and that's a promotion company that was around a few years ago, and now they're back in the game. It's homie Paul Padgett, so that'll be good. So July 27th.
27th.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the EP comes out on the 26th.
Yes.
It's going to be Spotify, Apple Play, all that stuff.
Apple Play. We can't. We're coming to the end of the podcast. We just can't talk anymore. I was just rambling on about that. And,
on every major streaming platform.
It'll be on
wherever you stream your music and don't buy it.
It's everywhere.
You can find it.
Also, most importantly, we will have physical copies of the EP.
That was my next one.
And you'll be able to order those on our Big Cartel, which
Sick.
There will also be physicals available at Now and Again in the mall.
It's Now and Then.
Not Now and Then. Shit. We really
Now and Again.
Now and Then.
What the hell is Now and Again?
Now and Then music.
Yeah, Now and Then the records. Yeah, the record store in Oshawa. So yeah, you'll be able to grab some there or in person. Honestly, shoot us a message on the page. I'll come and deliver them to your doorstep if you're in GTA, Ontario area.
GTA Ontario, it's pretty widespread. Jesus.
Nah, I'm pretty flexible. If you want to buy CD, hit me up. We'll work something out. But
or a shirt.
But we'll also on the
why not buy a second shirt?
On the Big Cartel, we'll have some pre-order options available, and we have a bunch of merch that we're printing up that's themed around the album. So we're gonna have a wall flag, a T-shirt that goes with the album art, as patch as well, just cause, and then the CD, of course. So you can grab whatever, and we appreciate it a lot. It definitely keeps us going. So
yeah, for sure, every little bit helps, man.
Exactly.
Yeah, man.
You can't make money off of streaming music, so you gotta figure out ways.
Yeah. So anything like that, it goes such a long way, because like you said, it's like, streaming is really nothing. It's the now it's all about the merch and the CDs, if you can sell CDs.
Yeah. Or if you can sell vinyls, people jump on that market.
Yeah, vinyl is still...
Man, they're great. I love vinyls.
Yeah.
But they're expensive for sure. It's definitely, we haven't rolled it out. We're just not doing it
this
yet.
exact second you're not.
We're waiting to see if we get some demand for it, and if that's the case, then
so if y'all want vinyl,
let us know.
Bitch at us.
Hit 'em up on the social media, Beguiler. You'll find them. It's the only one out there. So I'll make sure to link all that shit.
Most of them it's just Beguiler Band. You'll find it. Yeah.
Beautiful. All right. Well, Taylor, Nolan, Jacob, thank you guys very much again, and we'll talk to you down the road.
Yeah, for sure.
Man.
Thanks again, man.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having us.
All right, guys, there you have it. My chat with Jacob, Taylor, and Nolan from Beguiler. Shout-outs as well to Matt and Scott, the other guitarist and bassist in Beguiler. It was a lot of fun chatting with those three dudes. Again, it was pretty late at night, so especially near the end there, we really started to fade a little bit. So I do apologize, guys, that I kind of was, it was a couple moments I caught myself kind of going like, what's going on. I just couldn't keep it together anymore. I was getting I've been up since like 2 a.m. that day. So I do apologize. I wasn't quite on my A game at the last like maybe 10 minutes or so of that podcast, but still a lot of fun. Thanks again to the guys in Beguiler. It was an absolute blast having you guys on, and I hope you guys enjoyed that track that we heard, which was again entitled Crutch, which is, they're coming in Crutch with that track, man. It was a badass track, super hard and fast. And oh man, I just couldn't believe it when they clicked it on. I was like, Jesus, boys, like, oh my God, what are you doing? Like in a good way, just like, jeez. And again, that EP does come out July 26th. Go ahead and follow the boys on social media, which is just under Beguiler Band. And also, I'll link it in the description below. Have you listen to this podcast, you'll find it there. And drop them a follow, keep up with them, because 26, man, that's going to be a banger of an EP. You're going to want to get your hands on it, as well as getting your hands on some merch. And they said that they are going to have some online store set up for Big Cartel. So be sure to keep an eye out for that as well. Check them out on Facebook and Instagram. I don't believe they have Twitter, but Facebook and Instagram for sure. And be on the lookout too for a review of that EP from yours truly, because I'll definitely be playing it for you guys at some point and do my thing. It's been a while actually since I've done a review. Someone was mentioning that to me the other day, like, man, like, it's great you're doing these interviews and stuff. Like, you haven't done as many listening parties or music reviews lately. And I'm like, yeah, I think it might be time soon to do another one. And there's some cool stuff I want to do, but it's all time. It's all time. And I discovered today, actually, as I record this, that I will definitely, I haven't said anything yet on the pod, but because I always tell you guys everything, especially those of you who listen to this point in the podcast, the very end of it, I will be moving. And I'm very excited about it, very happy. This is going to be awesome. But due to the timing of it, and also it's going to fall literally right around our cottage trip we take every year, looks like I'm probably, not even probably, I'm going to have to take some time off from the podcast. Probably a couple weeks at least, possibly more. I don't know. We're going to be moving. We're probably going to have internet for a few days, which is just not going to work. Obviously, I need internet for a pod to upload the freaking podcast. However, we will have much better internet than I have in my current living space. So that's going to be cool. I'm looking forward to that. Can hopefully get some more Skype interviews going. There'll be much better quality. I'm super, super excited about that. But so I'm just giving you guys a heads up. There's going to be 2, possibly even 3 weeks in August where your boy might need to take a bit of a hiatus ski. I had talked about taking a month off, and I'm like, nah, I'm going to go crazy now podcasting for a month. So we'll see. Definitely for sure 2 weeks, because I don't see how the hell I'm going to be able to record, edit, and upload a podcast in that 2 week span. But I don't know, maybe I'll figure something out. Definitely that 1 week, though, for sure. You're not going to get one for sure, because this is no goddamn way. But just giving you guys a heads up on that, because if you're listening to this, you're my diehards. You're my family. You know what I'm saying? That's what you are. So thank you so very much for listening and tuning into this episode and tuning in all the time to the Hotter Show. It really means the world to me. And be sure to subscribe wherever you're listening right now. If you're on the SoundCloud, hit that follow button. If you're on the Google Podcasts or Apple Podcasts app, hit that subscribe button. If you're on the Spotify or the Podcoin or anything at all like that, hit that subscribe button. It means a lot. Or the YouTube as well, of course. Hit that subscribe button, leave a like, a dislike, comment, let me know what you thought of the track. And, again, be sure to hit the guys up at Beguiler. If you are looking to support the show a little more, check me out on Patreon, patreon.com/The Hotter Show. Definitely appreciate that. We have 3 tiers of community levels that I'm trying to build up. My $1, my $5, my $10. Depending on, if you want to join those communities, especially once I move and I get my internet good, you're going to be probably seeing me do a lot more live stuff. So I'm really excited about that, especially for my Patreon. I'll probably do like a live thing once a week just for the Patreon, where we kind of can just shoot the shit, and I'll maybe like do some behind the scenes stuff. I've thrown the idea around of doing videos while I edit and kind of show people what I do and talk about the interview, a little behind the scenes on the interview and stuff like that. I think that'd be a lot of fun to do for me, and also for for you guys to maybe check out and listen to. So definitely keep your ear to the ground for that. And I'm starting to ramble on, so I'm going to sign off here today. Thank you so very much again. Be sure to hit that subscribe button. Follow The Harder Show on all social media. We have Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And, of course, check us out on the Podbeard Network. PodbeardNetwork.com/The Harder Show. Be sure to check out all my family and friends on that network as well. You know, Mike's and Beers, my other podcast I do with my boy Ryan and my girl Sam. Those guys are my family, like straight up. Ryan's my brother and Sam's like literally like my little sister. So shout out to them, and of course, you know, all the other fun shows on the network. Hopefully, heading into the September 2, we're going to see a resurgence of, you know, people like Dark Run. He'll hopefully be back at it, because he had to take the summer off due to his internet connection. He couldn't stream. So looking forward to getting him back at it. Honestly Lazy and Boystick are, hopefully getting something cooking soon. So keep an eye out for that. Still Loading podcast. Josh just kills it all the damn time, man. He's one of the best podcasters in the world as far as I'm concerned. Just killing it lately. Best gaming podcast out there. And then, of course, my boys over at No Geeks Allowed. They kick ass all the time. Two of the funniest human beings I'd say I'd ever met, but I've never actually technically met them. But I don't care. They're still hilarious as hell, and you should check them out. And, go ahead and follow Podbeard Network on all the social medias. PodbeardNetwork.com for the full lineup of the programs. And, I'll talk to you guys next time on The Harder Show. Take it easy, guys.